Ben Simmons originally signed a 5-year, $170 million contract back in 2019, when he was previously an NBA All-Star and an All-Defensive Team member, and it was seen as a great contract up until this point.
Well, but that's when you know that the game is in your head. That's a dunk for Ben Simmons right there. You got to, and I know you got to decide what you got.
After that playoff disaster, he missed the entirety of the 2021-2022 season due to back injury and supposed mental illness. His mental health was so bad apparently, he had to practice with his phone in his pocket in case he needed to call his therapist. Since then, he has played in only 55 games. 2021 to today, 2024 February, he has only played in 25% of his games. It's hard to judge if his talent lives up to his contract because he's hardly ever on the court. I think the only player he's played more games than is Lonzo Ball. But in the few games he has played, he's averaging 6 points, 6 assists, and 8 rebounds. He's regressed as a playmaker, only averaging 6 per game since moving to the Nets, while he was averaging 8 assists in Philly, including one season where he averaged 9. He also hasn't attempted a three-pointer in 2 years, which is insane for a point guard, and he's shooting just 40% from the free throw line. He has close to zero impact on the offensive side of the ball as you can get. Defense used to be his calling card, but he's gone from an all-defensive team member to being an average defender at best, with a defensive plus minus of -0.4. You can blame a lot of that due to his back injury, but at the end of the day, this is not a guy worth paying $170 million to, including a huge payday of $40 million due next season. Number 4, Andrew Wiggins. October 2022, the Warriors signed Wiggins to a team-friendly deal for 4 years and $109 million. It was considered a team-friendly deal because Wiggins was giving the Warriors so much production, averaging 17 points and 3 rebounds that year as a third or maybe fourth option on a championship team. But fast forward to this season, his production has fallen off a cliff. He's averaging just 12 points on awful efficiency, 45, 34, 72 splits. There were rumors of the Warriors looking to trade Wiggins, including for a package around LeBron James, but there was zero interest across the league because this was going to be a huge contract for anybody to commit to. He has almost no impact on the game anymore, having the lowest net rating differential of all rotational players on the Warriors, and being in the bottom 30% of the league in estimated plus minus. His production is much closer to Boris Diaw when he was the same age, and back then he was only making $9 million for 2 years. So $109 million to put up Boris Diaw numbers is insane. Number 3 is Zach LaVine, and this is a tricky one because I don't believe this is 100% his fault. The Bulls signed him to a $178 million deal in 2022 for 5 years, including a ginormous $48 million player option at the end. He's only played in 25 games this season due to a knee injury, but last season he played 77 games and averaged 25 a game. The common narrative is that his production is just not impactful. He is 191st in win shares out of 306 players with 500 or more minutes. But to be fair, his team sucks. The Bulls are the worst run franchise in the NBA, besides the Hornets.
Bitch, I'm selling chicken tenders. Yeah, I get a beat from Energy and walking like Kimber. Looking like
The Bulls convinced Zach LaVine to stay and sign this massive contract because they built a mid-3 around him, Lonzo, DeMar, and Zach. But after Lonzo's injury, this team was never the same, and they refused to blow it up. Paying someone almost $180 million to be a habitual 6th to 8th seed, not good enough to win, and not bad enough to get a good pick, this is an awful contract and awful decision making. Number 2, Jordan Poole. This was supposed to be the year Poole put the league on notice and took a jump into superstardom, but after being knocked out by Draymond Green, he was never the same. The Warriors apologized with a $123 million deal, but Poole has not been able to live up to that contract. Statistically, he is one of the worst players in the league. Out of the 55 players in the league with a usage rate of over 25%, he's ranked dead last in true shooting percentage. Last year with the Warriors, he averaged 20 points as a third option / 6th man coming off the bench. This year with the Wizards, he's averaging just 15 points as a number 1 option and is shooting 39% from the field. It's like he turned into a whole different person after growing out those mutton chops. Last year with the Warriors, Poole scored 30 or more points over 15 times. This year, as a number one option with his own team, only 3 times has he scored 30 points. And it's not only the production, his attitude sucks. Ignoring his coach and teammates during timeouts, and due to his poor performance, he's now been benched. And reports have come out that say that he is not happy about it, despite his awful performance this season. Now, number one may shock you. A lot of you guys thought it would be Jordan Poole, but in reality, it has to be Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal is making a whopping $207 million for 4 years, including a $57 million player option at the end of it. And his contract includes a no trade clause. Before even getting into his production, we need to clap it up for his agent, because there is no reason a 30-year-old who hasn't played over 50 games since 2020 should have a $200 million contract with a no trade clause and a player option. This is incredible work. Availability has been Bradley Beal's worst enemy, with a long list of injuries including hamstring, ankle, back, knee, and foot issues. When Bradley Beal has been on the floor, the offensive production is there, averaging 18 points and 4 assists a game on almost 50% shooting from the field, 36% from 3. It's great production from a third option to Booker and KD. But this kind of contract should not be attached to a third option. For comparison, Kristaps Porzingis for the Celtics is making half of that at $96 million for 4 years, with similar production and history of availability. Taking on an aging and injury-prone Bradley Beal to be a third option makes sense until you attach that contract to him and until it puts you $60 million over the cap, and all you get out of it is an 8th seed and an eventual first round exit. If you made it this far, please like and subscribe. We're only 60 subscribers away from 1,000, and leave a comment. Let me know who you think is the worst contract in the league.